Peace, love, liberty, radio.
And the walls come crashing down as the war at home reaches your town. You have no choice, it's safe and clean. We all submit to the war machine.
You know, I have noticed something over the last, I'd say a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, that I've sort of been opening the show with like a personal experience sort of thing, to where like the show's becoming more personable instead of just, hey, here's Darryl telling us some news and what Darryl thinks about stuff. Like there seems to be like some insights into who Darryl is. And I talked a little bit, I think I talked a little bit about it. This is where that horrible short-term memory problem comes into play. I think I talked about doing a triathlon, and I was a little concerned. Not because I, honestly thought that I was going to die during the triathlon, but it's one of those things of, it's more mental than what you really expect. And I think that, that's one of the reasons that the website for the triathlon that I did, which was Give Peace a Try, the website is 90percentmental.com. And, well, I was concerned about the running and the biking because I've got bad knees. So I did no preparation on the swimming because I'm a good swimmer. At least at one time I used to be a good swimmer. So let me just sort of explain and recap the triathlon. So it was Saturday morning. I had to wake up early because check-in started at 6 o'clock. And, that's kind of early. So I get there, I get all my stuff laid out, and I was part of a team, kind of a team sort of thing with my gym, but I didn't really train with them because they were all way ahead of me, and then the time got changed to where it benefited pretty much everybody else, but not me. So I pretty much trained on my own. And I was, like I said, concerned about the running and the biking because of my knees, and I was concerned about that, not sure how my knees were going to hold up, if I was going to be able to make it through the 8-mile bike ride and the 3-mile run/walk, and I did nothing on the swimming. So Saturday morning rolls around, I'm all set up, and I'm I'm ready, going to do this. And I had in my mind, I think each thing's probably going to take about 45 minutes. Not really having any kind of clue how long it was going to take me to really do any of it. But, I kind of knew how long it would take me to go 3 miles in, a walk sort of thing because I knew I was going to be exhausted, plus my knees. So let me sort of explain what was going on in my mind when the thing started. So I'm all excited and pumped up, and I'm ready to do this thing. And so the race starts at 9, and then I was in the second group of people to begin the triathlon. So I started 4 minutes after the first group. And so, they start, they're swimming, so all right, everybody get in the water, get ready, and water felt nice. All right, feeling good. I'm going to do this. Let me sort of get off to the side. That way I'm not in everybody's way, and I'm not in some sort of weird flesh pile of people in the water and somebody going to drown somebody. So I start swimming, and about, a minute into it, my right arm starts hurting. I don't know why. I don't know if I did something to my shoulder, if I strained the muscle or something, but it was all right, this swimming thing is kind of harder than I expected. What do I do now? I know I will roll onto my back because it's easier to keep your head above water when you're on your back. So I start doing like a backstroke sort of thing without really using my arms because my right arm is hurting. So I'm kind of, like basically doing a backstroke without arms for a good bit, and then I realize like I'm veering off course and, kind of straighten up. And luckily they had people in kayaks where you could like hold on to the kayak. And I'm starting to get exhausted, so I'm resting on a kayak, and then, all right, let me go a little bit more, and then rest, and then go a little bit more, and rest. And I'm not even paying attention that everybody is passing me. I'm just, like, my goal is don't drown. So I get out, so it's a quarter-mile swim, and they had this big orange buoy that was halfway, so like it's the halfway turnaround point. So I get out to there, and I'm coming back, like my leg starts cramping. So I rest on one of the kayaks, probably longer than I should have, but, like leg cramp, and you don't want to drown. So then I start going again, and somehow I just, like, was going in a circle, and the guy yells to me. He's like, "You're not going anywhere." And so I, like, did something and changed it up and, like, doggy paddled for a little bit and started going forward. And so then, like, there were several times where I thought about quitting, but I didn't. So ultimately I realized, like, I'm the last person in the water, and for some weird reason I'm holding on to one of the kayaks. That's not the weird part. The weird part is I just sort of, like, let my feet dangle, and I realized, hey, I can touch the bottom of the lake here, so I'm not going to drown. And so that was like a relief to me, to where I'm about, like 3/4 of the way done. I can touch the bottom. All right, let me walk a little bit. And so then I start walking, and then, like kind of doing like a swim thing, and realize, like there's parts where I can't really touch anymore. But I knew, like, I'm not that far from where I can touch the bottom of the lake. So good, like I'm not worried about drowning anymore. And ultimately I wind up getting out of the water. I'm the last one out of the water. All right, like good. The worst is over, is what is in my mind. So I kind of jog up to my bike, and I dry my feet off a little bit, put my socks on, put my shoes on, grab my bike, and grab a, like, swig of water. And I had these little chewable energy tab things that have no caffeine, no gluten, no something, and it's only like 5 grams of carb. And it's just like something to give you some sort of nutrients, right? So I chew one of those, swig some water, grab the bike, go out through like the bike exit area, and hop on the bike right by the road. And there are people that are already like done with the biking part and starting the run. And whatever, like, my goal is to finish alive, hopefully before midnight. So I get on my bike, and I start riding. And I turn around the corner because the road turns, and then there's a hill, and I start going up the hill, and I have problems. So I'm like, all right, having trouble getting up the hill. Let me just like stand up and sort of like crank the pedals a little bit, and the back tire falls off. It fell off. Like, it was not connected anymore. And I'll pick up with the story when we come back on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Hey, this is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends radio show. I've been working with computer programmer Derek Slopey to create Fiend Phone. I'm using Fiend Phone right now to talk with and record one of my co-hosts in real time. Take it, Davi.
Hey, this is Davi Barker, and I'm 1,000 miles away from Michael, but we sound like we're in the same room.
We sure do, Davi. So, Davi, please tell the nice people more about Fiend Phone.
Fiend Phone is free, open-source software that opens up a global world of possibilities for collaborative, high-quality remote voice media production, and I'm digging it.
People can try the Windows beta version of Fiend Phone right now at fiendphone.com. But we're also raising money to vastly improve Fiend Phone and vastly improve independent talk media worldwide.
So go to fiendphone.com to help out. Who will build the audio roads? We will, with your help.
That's fiendphone.com. FEENPHONE.com. Foxtrot, Echo, November, phone.com.
Fiend Phone. I never knew remote audio could be this good.
Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry.
So the tire had fallen off. The back tire fell off. Well, not completely fell off, but it came out of where, like, the little prong things or whatever it's called that holds the bolts in. Like, that fell off. So the tire dislocated, and the chain was, like, wedged in between the frame of the bike and the tire, and I couldn't go anywhere, like, the tire not spinning. So I, like, leave my bike or pull it off of the road so it's out of the way of the runners, and I start kind of dragging it with me, and I'm like, screw it, leave it here. And I run back towards, like, the transition area, which is where you, like, have your stuff set out. And I was careful not to go in there because then I'd run over the sensors and the little RFID chip on my leg would have, like, goofed up the times. So I, like, run near there, and I'm just hollering, like, does anybody have any tools? My bike broke. And there was some guy that I think was, like, one of the co-organizers or, like, one of the head volunteers or something. He was like, there's some people in a van that have some tools, but let's go take a look. And this kid that I think was probably his son, but I'm not really sure, is like, I've got this tool, and it's like a hex key set, but it's on like a little multi-tool in his pocket, and he pulled it out, and he was able to undo the bolts or the nuts, put the tire back on, and then tighten it up. And I'm like, awesome, thanks. So I get on the bike again, and I start pedaling, and again I'm having trouble getting up the hill, and again I push down really hard on the pedal, and again I stop. Like, the back tire stopped. Like, it's not turning. I can't go anywhere. And I look, and the back tire is bent. Like, you know how if you put a pizza in your oven, and yes, this is a weird metaphor, but if you put the pizza in your oven and you leave it on the little piece of cardboard from when you bought the pizza at Walmart or wherever, and it comes on the little cardboard, if you leave it on there and it sort of like folds up on the sides, that's what the back tire of my bicycle looks like. So done. Like, I can't do this. I want to do this. The worst part's behind me. I just swam and I didn't die. And, like, I still, to this day, this is Monday, the race was Saturday, I feel like there's water in my head. I don't know how that happens, but it feels like there's water in my head. Like, I've got a neck muscle that for some reason is sore, but, like, the worst is behind me. And I know I can bike. Like, I'm not going to die biking is what is going through my head, but I can't do it now because my bike is broke. So I yell for the guy, and he turns around and he says, did the tire fall off again? I said, no, it's effing bent. And so I start dragging my bike back to the transition area because I'm thinking, like, I've got to give up. I don't have a bike. I can't just, like, drag this bike around with me for 8 miles. That's ridiculous. And so I'm taking the bike back, and I get almost to the transition area, and he runs over with the bike, and he says, here's a bike you can use. 83 is letting you borrow hers. So I don't know the woman's name. All I know is she had number 83. And thank you, whomever you are. You're probably not listening to this podcast, but if you are, thank you. So I borrowed a bike, and luckily on this bike, the gears actually changed, which was a tremendous improvement over the bike that I have, where I could not figure out how to change gears. So I start riding, and get to the hill where I was having problems and got a little bit further and was like, just to make sure that I'm not going to tear up this bike on this hill, I got off and pushed to the top of the hill, which wasn't that far, got on, started riding again. And then there were only 2 other hills where I had to like stop and push the bike a little bit. But otherwise, that was fine. So finished the biking and then, all right, put the bike up, and I told the head organizer, like, this bike belongs to 83, tell her thank you. And I ran over and grabbed another swig of water, another one of the little energy tab things, and I think I put on a hat, maybe. I don't remember if I put on my hat or sunglasses or something. And I grabbed a bottle of water so that I could take it with me. And I sort of started jogging a little bit, and then I was, all right, like, knee. So basically, for the most part of the 3 miles, I was walking. Except for maybe the last quarter mile, where heading back into the resort area where it's like, some state park sort of thing, it's literally downhill. So, like, it's easier to kind of, just like let gravity take over instead of just trying to simply walk. So, like, I'm jogging down the hill. Then I was like, all right, like, my knee's giving me just a little bit of trouble. And so I'll walk just a little bit. And then when I could see the finish line, I started jogging again. And I jogged across the finish line. And I wound up finishing the race. I hate that I don't know, but I still don't know my official time. I think it was 2 hours and 32 minutes, but I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because for some weird reason, the website that is keeping track of all of the times, it's missing some of what they call the splits. So I could tell you what my swim time was. I could tell you what my bike time was. And I could tell you what the transition times were. But I do not have the run time or the final time. But the swim took me 37 minutes, 7 seconds, 1 minute, 54 seconds of transition. Meaning, like, 1 minute, 54 seconds from the time I crossed over, like, you're heading into the transition area. Put my shoes on, grab some water, like, chew one of the energy tabs, grab the bike. The biking portion took me 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 19 seconds. Again, it took longer because of the bike trouble. I'm guessing that probably added somewhere close to 10 minutes to me. And then the second transition, which was going in, dropping the bike, grabbing a thing of water, chewing another energy tab, and then getting back onto the road to start running, that was 1 minute, 14 seconds. I think it took me about 50 minutes on the run. And again, like I said, I think my final time was 2 hours, 32 minutes. I'm not really sure. I know that I was the last person to finish. There was one person that I believe was a did not finish. But I'm not positive on that because, again, like the official times aren't in. And the reason I say that I think there was somebody that was a did not finish is because when I was biking, I was told that I was the last biker. And I was like, yeah, I probably am. And then at the turnaround point, I was told there's one biker behind you. And I was like, all right, cool. So, like, that person never passed me. So I'm guessing that they were a did not finish. They're listed below me on the finishing time. But almost as soon as I crossed over the finishing line, they started breaking down the sensors and taking everything apart. So that's why I think I was the last one to finish. But, as soon as this winds up getting finalized, I'll post a link or something on the Facebook page. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about the catcall woman from New York. You remember the video, right? Well, she's going to court now. Stay tuned to find out why. Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs offers premium publicity campaigns designed to facilitate an organization's adoption of Bitcoin as a payment system. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap, ExpressCoin, and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
So the New York City catcall woman, I have her name in front of me, but you probably would not recognize the name. So there was this viral video titled "Walking in New York City as a Woman," where she walked around for 10 hours and she received a lot of what were referred to as catcalls, where people tried to say hi to her, and some of them definitely made some unwanted advances, but you don't know necessarily that the advance is going to be unwanted until the person does not respond to the advance, right? So now Shoshana Roberts is going to court looking for a cash call. New York Daily News has the story that says the star of last fall's viral video, 10 hours of walking in New York City as a woman, filed suit Tuesday, that's last Tuesday, about 1 week ago, filed suit seeking $500,000 for her featured performance in the 2-minute clip viewed more than 40 million times. The defendants named in the suit include Rob Bliss, who came up with the concept, along with Holla Back, an advocacy group with a stated goal of ending street harassment. The two, along with co-defendants Google, YouTube, and TGI Fridays, were accused of failing to give to get Roberts signed permission to air the video before they used it to sell advertising. Now, it seems interesting to me, and we'll touch on this in just a bit, but it seems interesting to me that she was willing to be videoed. She signed, whatever permission with Hollaback to actually appear in this video, but now she's upset that people actually watched the video and that YouTube and Google and TGI Fridays did not get her permission, but the people that actually shot and edited the video did have the permission. She claims that the defendants unjustly enriched themselves and violated her civil rights by creating and airing videos containing her creative content, performance, image, likeness, and persona for the purpose of advertising or trade without her prior written consent. After answering a Craigslist ad, which was a casting call, she was filmed during a 10-hour stroll through the city where she was routinely, they allege, harassed by an assortment of men. And I've watched the video, and some of it is just people like, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" Or, "You'd look better if you smile." Really? That goes for harassment now, telling somebody that she would look better if she smiled. And this woman does not look happy. She looks incredibly angry, like she wants to rip the head off of babies. Like, this woman looks like somebody that you do not want to tick off. And so the story here continues that Shoshana Roberts claims she earned $200 for the video that appeared on October 28th, 2014, and led to online threats against the aspiring actress. She says, quote, "It's disturbing. I'm not comfortable talking about it right now." Then don't file a lawsuit. If you're not comfortable talking about it, don't file a lawsuit. Secondly, you were paid for what you did. You're just upset. And yes, Shoshana, I'm talking directly to you. Again, I doubt you're listening. But if somebody knows Shoshana Roberts, then please send her the clip of this show so that she can hear this. Because this is what she's doing. She is upset that so many people watched the video, and the company that paid her $200 made a fair amount of money on ad revenue from YouTube. That is why she is upset. If this thing never would have gone viral, she would not be suing for $500,000. She's upset that she wound up getting the raw end of a deal, basically. She was paid $200 for a video, and, well, she now thinks that she should have earned somewhere near $500,000. But no, I'm sorry. You paid what you got paid what you agreed to get paid. There was no agreement as far as I'm aware. And it's certainly not mentioned in this article. And one would think that if it was in the contract that she would get ad revenue or royalties, then it would be mentioned. And she would say, like, they're dishonoring the agreement. But that's not what she's saying. She's just saying that her civil rights were violated and that the defendants unjustly enriched themselves by showing a video that she was in that she agreed to appear in. The story here concludes, Hollaback co-founder and executive director Emily May said the group had not received court papers and had no further information about the allegations. Bliss did not respond to an email seeking a response. And, of course, this article's from about a week ago, so there's a small chance that they have responded, and I've just not seen the news on that. But most likely they still have not given a public statement on this. And again, it seems to me, based on what I'm reading here, that there was no contract violation, that she's just upset that somebody made a lot of money because she was in a video and she was paid to be in the video. It's not like she wasn't paid. She was paid $200, which is not really a lot for an actress. But again, she was filmed over a 10-hour period. $200, that's $20 an hour to just walk around New York City. Like, I would gladly get paid I'd gladly get paid $10 an hour just to walk around. You want to pay me $20 and follow me with a camera? Yeah, okay. I'll do that for 10 hours, $200. Like, I might have to sit down occasionally because, like, my knees and back are going to hurt. But still, like, you're going to pay me to walk around? Okay. Oh, it went viral and you made a lot of money? Okay, that's kind of cool. Now people know who I am. And if I'm not a horrible person that files a lawsuit against you, then people aren't going to think I'm a horrible person. And, like, I watched part of this weird 10-hour thing, and, like, I was like, really? Like, this is what people are all up in arms over? Like, it didn't seem like a big deal to me. And I'm curious about the whole thing where she claims that she has received, like, online threats or something. It's back here earlier in the article where it talks about, she received online threats against the aspiring actress. I'm not sure what sort of online threats, if people are just calling her mean names, like saying, hey, you got resting bitch face. I don't know if that's what was said. I have not seen any of these online threats. The article here does not link to them. But again, it just seems like this whole thing is being blown completely out of proportion. Just like the 10 hours of her walking through New York City and people telling her that she had pretty eyes and that she should smile more. And she's like, I'm being harassed. No, you're not. Get over it. You were paid to do a job. You did the job. Hey, don't forget, every Wednesday is the Ask Me Anything, AMA at FPP Radio.